Hello everyone and welcome back to another high level match of Beyond All Reason. Today we're going to be taking a look at this match that was played recently on the new Harris Planium map. Now interestingly today I felt like we'd take a little bit of a variation from the 8v8 and instead take a look at a 4 versus 4 that happened to be played between these 4 players. So we'll meet all 4 of them here instead of our usual team leaders. We'll get to know each and every one of them, but spawning here as the blue team leader, commander that goes by S4T0, or maybe it's Sato, so like the 4 is an A and the T is an O. Anyway, Sato, we'll go with Sato even if that's horribly wrong. The 24 true scale blue team leader, gonna be showing us what he's got. Just north of him we do have Louis Blue, Stellas over here in Cyan, and then to round it off we have Hazy R, our cyan, kind of lime green colored commander here. Gonna be showing us what he's got. Going to be playing some frontline, as all of them are on this big wide open map. Really a perfect map for 4v4s because there's 4 backline spots and there's 4 frontline spots. So when you play a 4v4, it means that everyone gets a guaranteed expansion, if you get what I mean. They all get the comfort of expanding backwards while also, of course, pushing forwards right here. Now spawning on the northern side and representing the red team, we have 7511 or 7511 here, going to be playing as an Armada commander. Just south of him, we have Alakazam, the yellow commander. Down below that, we do have Gun Overlord, our hot pink commander for the day. And rounding us off, we have Excalibur. Excalibur going to be going into some vehicles here. In fact, we have a nice little spread of vehicles to bots ratio over here. We do have 3 vehicle bays, one of which is, only the bot lab is going to be the Cortex player here. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to be seeing a whole lot of Armada vehicles coming out of the red team here. What are we looking like as far as tech goes for the blue team? I see 1 bot lab and... is that a bot lab? No, alright, so all vehicles and 1 bot lab here as well for the blue team, although we do have a Cortex vehicle lab up and running right now for the blue team leader, so slightly more of a Cortex emphasis for the blue team, but all said and done, still a very heavy presence of Armada out on the map, and I'm always happy to see it. Single rover in the backline right now. We do have another one headed towards the yellow commander's base, but it will eventually be shut down by the laser cannon mounted upon the red commander's arm. There we go. Alakazam trying to hunt this rover down, making sure it doesn't do any critical damage in the backline. This rover, ooh, a little lapse of micro right there, and suddenly gets blasted apart by its yellow-colored brethren. At the very least, a decent bit of scouting right here. We know where the red player is. That's probably the side that we're going to want to pay the most attention to, right? Keeping track of those very high skill players, making sure that you're constantly aware of where the most powerful players on either team are going to be. Ooh, self-D. Ah. Oh, all right. Well, we keep the metal extractor alive right there. I was saying to self-destruct the metal extractors that we could kill all those, but hell, I guess if we can kill the rovers, we'll actually still keep the metal extractor alive. Oh, a little bit of applause right there. I think it's all going to be well and good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that trade, and I'm sure Stellas is too. Resbot over here has been eating up tons and tons of metal on the red team side of the map here. One of the luxuries of going bots, of course, is you have these Resbots, which you can get across the map and get out again before anybody is none the wiser. They are radar stealth, so they won't be detected by a radar field. It means you need line of sight in order to effectively find them. Big old rover run by in the backline. Boy, that's a tricky one. Rover run by in the backline here. Gonna be scouting for any mexes over here. These are naked expansions in the back right now for the blue commander, means they're extremely vulnerable to the rovers. Now blasting them apart with a swiftness. Lovely stuff. Excellent harassment right here. You can tell the skill level virtually corresponding to the color. I feel like we've seen mostly red and orange in the backlines right here for the red team. And indeed, we do get another kill and another metal extractor in the backline right here, as well as a wind turbine or 2 might come down. Ooh, okay, medium tank. Fires a shot, but not going to be able to. We're wasting our opportunities here, blasting apart that wind turbine. There we go. Eventually, we're going to get our rovers together and start eventually dealing some more damage, but there we go. Medium tank finally cleans all that up. LLT will come up here as well to make sure that this is all dealt with. For the time being, though, the blitzes are continuing to push across as well. And trading out the blitzes for the grunts right here. Not the end of the world. Certainly for the blue commander, if we can get that reclaim captured, that will be a worthwhile trade. But getting that reclaim captured is easier said than done. There we go. Resbot is still available here, so at the very least we could pull this to eat up all that reclaim. But now the Janus has hit the field. So the Janus rely on spiraling. They rely on snowballing very, very heavily. If you can manage to snowball your Janus into 4, 5, 6 of them, they can be really difficult to stop on the front line because the cost to take a hit from 5 Januses is enormous. Enough to bring down a single commander, or a commander in a single volley, that is. If I remember correctly. The number is somewhere between 5 and 6. It depends on the flanking damages and the the distance from the commander to the explosions, all that sort of stuff. But roughly speaking, 5 to 6 Janus seem to be able to bring down commanders with relative ease. Gonna do pretty good against medium tanks too, though. There you go. You see 60 HP remaining, or 40 HP blown off the medium tank right there. Ooh, Resbots wanders a little too far on the southern side as well. Will get blasted apart here by Gun Overlord. The red team doing a great job of being aggressive out of the map. Alakazam especially, pushing very far forward here. That is certainly risky. You run the risk of losing or falling, pushing too far ahead of your allies' lines, and then suddenly you find yourself surrounded. That can certainly be something to be aware of, something to be cautious of. Big opportunity paths on the northern side over here. Pardon me. Just finished up dinner while I'm recording this, or just before recording this. Always important to watch bar on a full stomach, or play bar on a full stomach. It's the only way to play optimally. Here we go, though. Medium tank used for a little bit of scouting alongside the Blitz, and the Janus tanks roll on in to start firing away. There they go, launching their missiles, blasting apart that shell shocker. Medium tanks takes a heavy hit as well, and this is the value that you're really hoping for. Every time that these Januses fire, you do get quite a lot of value. Yeah, blue team gonna want to shut those down really soon. Missile trucks making it difficult too, though. So far, an excellent contest on the northern side. HZR doing a great job of keeping the blitzes alive, making sure to continually utilize them in the most efficient pattern possible. Do a little bit of a reclaim command from the commander over here, and it looks like the red commander, worried about a little bit of a run by, positions the army on the northern side, leaving the commander completely exposed. Oh, I think if we scouted this commander right here, we'd definitely send the blitzes in to try and topple it. Taking down the commander when you're playing as vehicles is really crucial. It eliminates that D-gun, which means you can go for instance, a big old medium tank run by, and there's virtually nothing you can do to stop those really efficiently. Janus is probably the best answer in the T1 vehicle category. There's a few options as well for T2, but that would take quite a significant investment that nobody has the metal for quite yet. Are we going to grab these geothermals too? The only one being captured currently is by the hot pink commander over here, building this geothermal in the crevasse. I would love to see these other ones grabbed a little bit quicker here as well. Certainly this one in this hole should be grabbed by either the yellow or the red commander, but we also have this one back here. A free 300 energy per second for only 540 metal is a seriously efficient usage right there. Looks like the grunts did jump on top of this army, by the way. I see a downed blitz right here, but the Janus still lives. We are sending more and more reinforcements forward as well. Missile truck's actually pretty good against grunts. You can see shredding off a not insignificant amount of health with every missile. It's because grunts fill such a strange role. They are simultaneously a scout sort of spam weapon. They are also just a really mainstay frontline assault unit. Difficult to distinguish where exactly the line ends and the line begins. But it's worth noting that those missile trucks do perform fairly well against grunts. Certainly one of the few units that the missile trucks perform well against after their damage nerfs that happened a little while ago. Oh, the friendly fire. Oh no. One of the problems with the Janus, certainly, the friendly fire can be immense. Very tricky to be certain. Here we go. Frontline has been neglected. A little bit of a base trade situation here. Yeah, HZR kind of pushing forward with the commander while a whole bunch of missile trucks have gone this way. Oh, this is a great wraparound, though. Yeah, we do have the blitzes moving forward on these missile trucks. This is a huge catch right now. The red commander is rushing forward to try and stop all this, but it is far too late. A critical overextension right now from the red commander, and gonna lose so many of these missile trucks. 3 of them fall already, and I think a 4th is about to as well. Can we get the 5th? Ooh, it just barely stays alive. 11% HP right there. Commander rushing forward to try and salvage whatever of this wreckage that he can. This is the only reason this trade is going to be halfway decent, is because, of course, 7511 has the commander in position to reclaim a lot of those wrecks. Tried to take down the commander over here on the northern side as well, but unfortunately, some killer D-guns from the green commander will mean that is no longer an option. So this very early aggression from the yellow commander has netted them a T2 transition. You can see the T2 lab pushing its way into production right now. We do have enough energy production for it as well via those wind turbines. No geothermals, ironically. Probably would have been a better investment to just go for the geothermals as opposed to raw metal cost anyways, but certainly there is something to be said for how much energy you have to dump into each and every one of those geothermals. I believe it's something around 15,000, I want to say. Hold on, what was that other one? Yeah, 13,000 for a geothermal is quite expensive, especially for an early game economy where usually you only have a couple hundred energy production per second. LLT's doing decent work against these blitzes over here. Janus is going to be quite a bit more compelling, though. Down go one of the LLTs that were set up right here by the red commander. Another one also falls. You sort of want your Januses to fire at the commander. Yeah, there they go. Well, no damage on that shot. A little bit of a swing and a miss in the dark right there. This advantage from Hazy R is being negated, though, by all these metal extractors that were blown to pieces, or maybe even not even taken. Yeah, actually, now that I look at it, I think these metal extractors were just never taken right here by the Green Commander, but they certainly need to be. This one probably was, but I don't see any on any of these other ones. They were either reclaimed or they were never taken in the first place, and that is a tremendous blunder. All this position in the world, all this forward positioning right here from the Green Commander, not worth anything if suddenly we don't have the metal extractors behind it, and we end up with essentially the same as if we had just got these 4 metal extractors instead of pushing forward like this, minus, of course, the cost. Ooh, nice commander snipe right there. Minus the cost of all this LLT garbage and whatnot sitting on the front lines there. Now we are transitioning into a slightly more expensive army here, so Stellus has not read this correctly, did mistake that transition, or that low point of production here where units were coming out much slower. Mistook that for a sort of a building up, maybe expecting medium tanks or something like that. Not reading properly that this is a full-fledged T2 transition, and so we have a T2 metal economy starting up right here, and also we will be having some of those Mauser rolling on up to the front lines here in short notice. My goodness, what a wall of aggravators. Agitators, sorry, no, aggravators. Yes, I did get it right, okay. Always mixing up the aggravator and the agitator. The Cortex T1 plasma artillery versus the T1 rocket bot. Ooh, Alakazam in a little trouble here too. Uh-oh. Well, suddenly, with 5% HP to his name, yeah, that commander is forced to back off here. We don't have any res bots mixed in right now for the blue commander here. It's a little bit of a bummer. Couple of res bots to pick up all these fallen thugs on their faces here. Picking those up and folding them back into the composition, not to mention just repairing any of the other ones that are damaged quite severely, would be very, very valuable, and would allow so much more sustain to this army. It could have essentially pushed indefinitely. Meanwhile, tons of that metal from the commander snipe has gone back to Hazy R. This is looking fabulous for the blue team now. We need a T2 transition. Indeed, we do start one up. There we go. We do have the T2 transition up north here. As long as we can get some good reclaim going, as long as we can manage to hold on to our positions, I think this should be all well and good. We need these metal extractors up and running, though. Ah, such a bummer. This is so much wasted metal right here in these 5 metal extractors that haven't been claimed or reclaimed right here. Here come the Mauser, firing away from long distance. Like artillery that moves. I know. Quite powerful indeed. Medium tanks trying to get the jump on this, and in fact actually getting a really effective jump on all this. These thugs are in a whole lot of trouble here. Medium tanks kind of getting us around on thugs. Not usually what we see happen, but there we go. We'll take it whenever it does. Nice dig in there from Gun Overlord. Does take down a couple of those tanks, but yeah, losing the entire army for it definitely doesn't feel like a very effective trade. Ah, yeah, some blitzes jump on top of these aggravators as well. Really nicely done. That's a huge waste of T1 metal right now for the Hot Pink Commander. This trade is only made up for by the fact that we have T2 out and running right now, so we can always upgrade these metal extractors, upgrade the geothermals, all that good stuff, so the red team can afford to be wasteful, is what I'm trying to say here, whereas the blue team definitely going to need to see some serious efficiency if we want to clean all the rest of this up. Finally securing these metal extractors, but my goodness, it's been a while. Luckily, those T2 are going to be hitting the field right here. T2 Constructor has been handed out to the Red Commander, but we don't quite have T2 production underway. So for that being said, 7511 is in an economic lead over Hazy R here. You can see 24 metal production versus 63. My goodness. Just a couple of those T2 metal extractors really make a huge difference. I wouldn't even mind seeing a T1 production at this point. I mean, we have the T2 coming out right now, but you already have the infrastructure for mass T1. What you really could do is just pump out hundreds and hundreds of medium tanks. I mean, 4 times the amount of medium tanks that you could on your previous economy. I think it's a viable strategy. I think certainly those medium tanks perform well enough against the T2 that when you can produce 4 times as many of them, they actually can overwhelm them in such vast numbers that it doesn't really matter how efficient the trade is, because more stuff tends to beat less stuff. There we go. Janus is getting tremendous efficiency now, firing into these big grouped up balls of thugs. Brutes, pardon me. The medium tank, not the medium plasma bot here. Seto, the blue commander, eating up tons and tons of this. We also have a huge reclaim field over here. All of these reclaim fields should be utilized by the blue team to go for T2. That would be the ideal solution here. We do have the mine layer, which I believe can reclaim? No, never mind. Cannot reclaim, can only build. Although I bet if you went and put landmines in all the different wreckages, it would probably reclaim them. Probably a little bit of a hack right there. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if that would actually work. It might just destroy them. I'm not entirely sure. Anywho, Mauser are continuing to roll forward right here. Alakazam using that T2 advantage to push into different lanes right now. Ooh, we're walking into these LLTs. LLTs hurt, man. They hurt really bad against Commanders specifically. Commanders have a predisposition against LLTs. I don't know what the opposite of a predisposition is. They have an anti-predisposition towards LLTs. They're allergic to them, I guess is the right words. There we go. Nice Commander snipe. Yeah, yellow Commander falls right there. Not the end of the world, certainly. Those T2 units that we've transitioned to are going to be much more powerful on the front lines than the Commander could be at this point. But it's certainly nice to have that Commander up in case, for instance, there's some sort of cheeky, I don't know, T3 rush or something like that that ends up sending a Razorback in your direction, and the only really efficient way of dealing with it is going to be by obliterating it via degunnery. T2 constructors working on whatever they can. Wouldn't mind seeing a couple rattlesnakes on the front lines. It's a very common, very popular move right now is to just go for a bunch of rattlesnakes and use those to effectively lock down areas of the map. It just punishes people for pushing a little too greedily into your side of the map, and that can be really, really useful. Area denial, more or less. Lightning tanks coming up for Hazy R on the northern side, but we do have a big old run by over on this side. Eventually cleaned up here, not too much damage. A couple of metal extractors fall, but we do have the constructors to replace all that. The real damage here is Gun Overlord's commander. Oh no! Gun Overlord's commander dies as well. The blue leader, I need a drink or something. The blue leader has managed to jump on top of the commander right here, suddenly leaving the red team with exactly a single commander left. It's Excalibur, the orange team leader. And we have more medium tanks moving in. Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. The red team with a huge economic advantage pushing into the base at this point of Stelis here. We do have Fiends pumping out right now as well. We need to get these Fiends moving. Oh no, he's standing still. Self-D the Fiend. Tell me we self-D the Fiend. Okay, we don't manage to pull it off. Those Mauser have obliterated the base right here for Stelis. The T2 factory goes down alongside the commander. Uh-oh. Oh no. The medium tanks have a huge opportunity. This is the last remaining commander for the red team. Yeah, those E-converter's not spaced out enough. Oh, he's not paying attention. Oh no, Excalibur's not paying attention. Janus fires away. 27, 25, 23. It all comes down to this. The bases are falling. The northern side is crumbling, but the blue team manages to snatch it. My goodness, in the very last desperate throw of T1 technology, the blue team manages to clutch the victory by sending a little stealth assassination force, Janus, Shellshocker, and a couple of medium tanks to win the game from an otherwise imminent collapse. Beautiful, beautiful play right there. Definitely came down to the wire. It was this or it was nothing. And the blue team managed to hold strong throughout all adversity. What a beautiful little game. Absolutely love the 4v4 format. Let me know what you think about it down below, though. I sure hope you enjoyed. Always feel free to leave a like down below if you enjoyed, or a dislike, I suppose, if you really hate beyond all reason. But I suppose if you made it this far, it's probably the wrong audience for that. And I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I will see you in the very next one. Peace out, everybody.